I begged my husband to help with the house and our child, but now I'm exhausted, heartbroken, and realizing I'm basically raising two kids. Posted by u/throw_ra_compacted. I'm sure you all have heard similar stories. We, 23F and 25M, have been married for 4 years now. My husband, despite multiple discussions over the past 2 years, never takes initiative in chores or anything in our lives. I'm constantly the one reminding him and asking him to do things, and when I don't, it doesn't get done. He told me he started hating me because of it about 6 months ago, so we both had an agreement that I would stop telling him what to do as long as he started following through with his promises. I followed up on my end of the promise, and he didn't within a few days. We agreed that since I wake up first to work out then make breakfast, he would wake up with our kid and take her to daycare before work. After work, I pick up our kid, make dinner, and manage the bedtime routine, and he cleans the kitchen while I do that. Every single day, I walk out after bedtime to the kitchen not being touched. It's so disappointing and hurtful. Usually, I get upset with him and tell him that I really want the kitchen cleaned every day, and he just brushes me off, saying he will do it in the morning. 25% of the time he does. But since we had the agreement, I stopped. I just pretended to ignore the mess and would get ready for bed because, by then, I would have to get up in 7 hours. I let him be responsible for the mess because that's what we agreed on. 2 months later, and our kitchen was always a mess. Constantly, we would have molded food on the stove, next to the sink, crumbs everywhere on the floor. So I gave up and started cleaning whenever I had time. I learned to cook and clean at the same time, stressful with a child, but I learned. Most of the time, there were a week's worth of dishes, and we have no dishwasher, so it took me a long time to catch up on washing them. After bedtime, usually, I'd be the only one cleaning. He would be lying in bed even though I wake up 2 hours before he does. He would literally yell at me about how I let the dishes get so stinky whenever he did wash them, even though he agreed that he's responsible for cleaning after dinner. So I stopped relying on him and just started taking care of everything on my own. It's been 2 months of that mindset, and I find it harder to respect him now. He seems like a child to me, always complaining about everything and never putting in effort. Always too tired and grumpy. Today, I was very excited because my husband brought up the idea of a movie night date. He never brings up date ideas or plans them, so it made me so hopeful. He said he would rent a movie, and after bedtime, we would watch it. I made a fancier dinner and put our kid down. The kid took a little longer to go down, but I was fine with it because I figured he would clean today so we could have a movie night. I was wrong, he didn't even bother to close the lids on the pans on the stove. He just turned off the lights in the kitchen. It felt like my heart broke, and I cleaned the kitchen myself again. He walked out, didn't say a word, and watched YouTube videos at the counter. Once I was done cleaning, we went to the bedroom, and he just went to sleep. It hurt so much. I was so hopeful this time. He gets mad at me that I don't treat him like a man, but he never shows me he's reliable. I'm always hurt by his actions. Anyway, any advice on what I should do? Relevant comments. Commenter. When my ex-husband did this, I put the dirty dishes on the bed and slept on the couch. He cleaned it all up. I don't think yours would do that, he'd probably put them on the floor and go to sleep. If you're not going to leave, lock up all of the dishes and start using paper plates and disposable utensils. Only make one-pan recipes. Better yet, stop cooking for him altogether. Ops response. No, he would probably get aggressive with me. I could never do something like this. He gets aggressive when I do harmless pranks, like putting a whoopee cushion on the couch he sits on. Commenter 2. When you say aggressive, what do you mean? Ops response. Raises his voice, his face and body language get scary and aggressive. He's threatened violence before, and I was physically abused as a child, so it freaks me out. He's never outright hit me before, though. Commenter 3. I'm confused. What does he actually do in the marriage if he's this lazy and incompetent? Does he even have a job? Ops response. He's great with laundry. He folds his own stuff but won't touch mine, but at least he does it. As for cleaning, he doesn't touch anything unless specifically asked. We both work 40-hour weeks. I work in management, and he's an office worker. I do all the household jobs except putting up shelves and mowing the lawn. Commenter 4. After all this, you're asking for advice? You know what you have to do, get rid of that 150-pound sandbag you're carrying. Your life will 1000% improve. Ops response. At the time I wrote this post, I felt insane guilt for even considering divorce. By the time I got through reading all the replies and writing this comment, I realized how badly I'm really being treated. It's liberating and enraging at the same time. I'm starting to plan to leave him. Update 14 hours later. I'm realizing how horribly I'm treated after posting on relationship advice. This is just a vent post about some of the things my husband does that I guess I've brushed off for a long time. Told me he wants to punch me so badly and threatened to beat me up during one of his breakdowns. I asked him to show me that he loves me. He said he wants a punching bag so he doesn't hit me instead. Told me if I leave him, he will off himself. Every year on my birthday, he makes me cry and gets aggressive. His eyes are almost black. When he gets mad, it scares me. He knows it and stares me down when I try to talk to him. I have a recording of him going off on me about how he hates me and that he wants to push me off the bed most nights. If I start crying around him, he gets annoyed and says things like, "Why are you crying again?" and physically restrains me during anxiety attacks because I don't want to be near him. Right after I gave birth to my daughter, he fell asleep and slept through the night. I had been awake for over 24 hours before labor and couldn't sleep afterward because the baby was awake and I was having severe anxiety. When I tried to wake him, he glared at me and went back to sleep. This particular event has stuck with me for the past 2 years. He showed me no care or extra attention after having my baby. He stayed home for a week and didn't do anything around the house. I still cooked, cleaned, and took care of everything with the newborn. I fainted 3 weeks postpartum, and he got mad at me for not eating enough, but I just had no energy to make myself food. When I tried to tell him I was struggling mentally after the baby at 3 months postpartum, he turned it into a rant about how I never did laundry or made food on time, and it ended with me saying I'll try better. This jerk, looking back, didn't apologize for his lack of effort, ever. He completely ignored my mental struggles after the baby. I would cry every day for almost a year, and he never once tried to be caring or attentive during that time. I was so sleep deprived and depressed that I couldn't pull myself out of it until I started working about a year later. He got better at helping out at home, but he blames his lack of a proper father figure for his incompetence, yet he'll blow up on me if I use the same excuse, lack of a proper mother figure, when I make a mistake. Constantly criticizing everything I do. I ask him a question and it becomes a jab about something completely unrelated. Anyway, I can go on and on. I'm shaking with rage right now as I'm realizing how long I've dealt with him. Relevant comments. Commenter. Did he show this behavior before you got married and had kids with him? Ops response. He definitely showed some signs when I look back at our relationship. Another one I forgot to add, when I told him about when I got assaulted, he literally got up and left. Gave me the silent treatment for a week. My dumb head thought it was my fault for telling him. This was when I was 19, so we had been together for a year at that point. Somehow, I kept ignoring how he would get mad so quickly, and I didn't notice when I started walking on eggshells around him. But he started the violent part this year, so I didn't see that coming at all. Second update 1 month later. First of all, I did not expect the post to blow up. Thank you to everyone who gave their advice. I tried to read every reply. I have been asked a lot for an update, so I'll just give what's happening now. I didn't leave him. Yet, at least. After that post, I had a surge of confidence and really was planning on leaving him. Suddenly, though, he woke up one morning and it was like he was a different man. I'm not exaggerating, he was drastically different. He made breakfast for me while I was working out, he helped with making lunch, kept kissing me, and sent me off to work with an "I love you." I thought for sure it would stop by the time he got home later, but it didn't. He went from a man who was angry every morning and angry when he came home from work to a sweet and loving man, overnight. It was weird at first, but after a full week of being shown affection, all my plans for leaving crumbled and I was lost. He started working overtime and I started working part-time, so the issues of house chore divide ceased. Plus, he cleans the kitchen now while I put the child down, which was the main issue. It's been 3 weeks and I feel like I'm living in a dream, and I have no idea what to do. I still haven't told him that I plan to leave him. I don't know if I will or not. I can't help but feel suspicious, like there's some hidden motive to this. He even planned a date night and showed me affection after. He never does that. I keep expecting his usual aggression to pop out of nowhere. Sometimes he still looks at me with those scary eyes, but he doesn't talk or do anything aggressive anymore. I feel unsettled by all this in a way. My mental health has been spiraling too. I just feel so lost. Today he was upset because I slept in, and it's making me feel so anxious for some reason. He wasn't aggressive or yelling, but I'm scared to piss him off and that he will go back to how he was. So that's where I'm at right now. Thank you to everyone who took the time to help me, and I'm sorry if this update wasn't what you hoped for. Relevant comments. Commenter. You never had a conversation about things recently when you made your original post? Maybe he snooped through your PC or phone, came across it, and had a wake-up call. Commenter 2. That's what I'm thinking. The abrupt 180 in behavior for no apparent reason is creepy as hell, especially considering the bit about his scary eyes. Stay vigilant, up. Third update 2 months 2 weeks later. My 23F husband, 25M, admitted that his younger brother yelled at him for how he treats me. My husband and I have relationship issues. I have been hesitant to leave him, mainly because we have a child together, but also because I care for him a lot. He got really dark a few months ago, did and said a lot of things that hurt me, but didn't directly hit me or do anything in front of our kid. I was ready to leave him because, throughout our relationship, he never really treated me that well, and I think I was just at my limit. But when I tried to leave, he broke down and begged me to stay, so I did. He has changed since. He's been treating me like an equal. He's been going to therapy consistently for 4 months now. He's started opening up to me about things he didn't before. I've been noticing that, overall, he seems so much warmer to others, not just me. Recently, we were driving and a conversation about his little brother, 22M, came up, and I was telling him about some things that his brother told me about his girlfriend. My husband randomly admitted that his brother told him to treat me better. I was shocked because I didn't think anyone noticed or thought of our relationship like that. I never said a word to anyone. I asked him what happened, and he seemed embarrassed and brushed it off, saying that his brother just kinda yelled at him that he doesn't treat me like a woman. The crazy thing is that my husband admitted to not treating me well to me then too. I didn't know what to say, so that was the end of the conversation. Since then, he's been bringing things up randomly, asking what I like and how I would like to be treated. My question is, how do I respond to this? Or do I just let him be and do his thing? My usual response is to just brush it off or say, whatever you want, honey, but I've been growing a bit of self-confidence, so I don't want to brush it off anymore. I'm also just still shocked that someone said something to my husband, I guess. I don't know what to think of it. Got nobody to talk to about it. Relevant comments. Commenter. Up. I regret to inform you that if things got so bad that his little brother yelled at him, then pretty much everyone realized he was abusing you. Everyone saw it, was horrified, and talked about it behind both of your backs. Do not kid yourself. This isn't just a small thing you can brush away because he's getting better. I'm glad he's going to therapy and hope he stays committed to improving. But you need therapy too, urgently. You've been so thoroughly mistreated that you can't even tell how wounded you are, because the respite from his violence has you over the moon. Well, the truth is you've floated so far from normal you can't see the shore anymore. Get some treatment, because by now it's well known that trauma this great never has the decency to just stay buried. It will come out, probably in a terrible way, at a terrible time, and in a terrible place. Fourth update 9 days later. My 23F husband, 25M, got berated by my friend about his behavior toward me while I wasn't there. We had my husband's best friend and his wife over yesterday. We don't usually drink or stay up late, but they came over after we put our child down, and they had left their child with the in-laws for the night. So it was our first time being child-free together since we had kids. My husband has been best friends with this guy since before he met me, and I've always liked his wife. I've been getting pretty close to her over the past year, and we even call each other best friends now. Well, we stayed up late and had a very good time. Eventually, at about 1:30 a.m., my daughter woke up, so I left and called it quits by that time. I was done drinking and was getting tired, so I snuggled with my daughter and fell asleep in her room. My friend came into my daughter's room and told me she wanted to talk really quick. She admitted that she started telling him a thing or two about how she feels about him, and that he started crying. She said she apologized to him and to me too and said maybe she had too much to drink and shouldn't have said anything. I just shook my head and told her that maybe it was just getting late for all of us, and after a hug, they left. My husband just went straight to bed without saying anything, so I figured I would bring it up later. Today, my husband is being so grumpy. I woke up with my daughter and let him sleep in, but at about 11 a.m., I told him that I needed him to get up so we could clean and wash up before church, our usual Saturday routine for the past 3 years. I told him after we clean we can take a nap with my daughter if we're still tired. Well, it took him 30 minutes to get out of bed. When he finally got up, he just stayed in bed and went on his phone. I constantly kept asking him to get up because it was late. He wouldn't answer me every time, and at some point, I got tired of nagging and stopped. He just kept using his phone while I cleaned. Finally, I sat down for a little and asked him about yesterday, and he grumbled that I told my friend he's a horrible person, so she was berating him. I was shocked and said no, I never told her anything about our relationship. She's my friend, yes, but I don't talk about my marriage problems to anyone. So I told him, and he just shrugged and said that she said something along the lines of him not treating me well, and that he should learn to grow up. Funny thing is, his behavior today just stands out, knowing what she said to him. In my head, I wanted to tell him off, that what she said was true, but I didn't. I just told him that I'm glad my friend has my back, but I swear what she said is from her own assumptions about our relationship. He said she probably misunderstood something I said. I think it's interesting that I found out not long ago that my husband's younger brother also yelled at my husband about his behavior, past post. It makes me feel more confident in myself about my feelings for him and our marriage. I'm tired of being the bigger person all the time. I'm already 1 foot out the door, and he doesn't even seem to try to make me stay, other than cry. Edit. She told me a few days later that while he was crying, he started talking about how I make him do everything and that I'm such a liberal. What the F does that even mean? Relevant comments. Commenter. Girl, I was ready to lose it with this post, but then you mentioned the brother-in-law post, and when I went to see it, I saw your post history, including the one detailing not just mental abuse but your husband's threats of physical abuse. You need to stop posting to Reddit every other week and gather the advice from basically every post, and take it to heart. I know it sucks, but this man does not love you, respect you, or even care about your well-being. This man actively hates you and then manipulates you into believing that's your fault. This relationship is not salvageable, and your life can only improve by admitting that and packing your bags. That all said, leaving an abusive situation is dangerous, so please contact a domestic violence hotline to create a safe exit plan, especially given his past threats. Ops response. You're right, I appreciate the time you took to read and write this. I already have an emergency plan in place, just struggling to find the courage to actually go ahead with it. Thank you, I really needed to hear this. 5th update 2 months later. So I left him. Everyone was right about him. I'm safe, with my daughter and my little brother. It's been a few weeks since I left. Even after I posted last time, I won't lie, I still had hope for this man. What made me decide to leave was the fact that, despite him verbally abusing me and later threatening to physically abuse me, he acted like I was the one who needed to bend over and apologize to him. It wasn't that he treated me badly that was the reason I left. It was the fact that he was stomping around and acting like a child, yelling at me and my daughter and making her feel anxious. I still tried to be nice. I tried to talk to him. I asked him what was wrong, and he just gave me that look he always does. I don't know how to explain it, but it makes me feel so small. He doesn't break his gaze or say anything, he just stares until I have to look away. It felt like a switch flipped in me, and mentally, I was gone. That night, I put my emergency plan in place, because I already had one from a time he threatened me months ago, and a few days later, I was physically gone while he was at work. I'm not going to give details because of the possibility he could see this, but I have a new job, a new apartment, in a new city, however and wherever I want. It feels so freeing. My daughter couldn't care less, and somehow that makes me happy but also deeply sad. I should have done this a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. She's just happy that she gets to go to the park more often now with her uncle. My brother confided that he's happy he doesn't have to hear him yell anymore. My family keeps calling me. My mom tells me I'm making a big mistake and embarrassing myself. I'm not even going to bother explaining myself or my side of the story. His family keeps calling me too. His mother is apparently in the hospital because of a stress-induced attack from this. My sisters-in-law sent me nasty texts and called me until I blocked them. My now ex keeps calling me too. I hate it, it makes me feel sick to my stomach. My brother-in-law only sent me one text, and it said, "Good for you. I hope you find a better life." It makes me feel somewhat comforted with this whole situation. I hope he's right, though. So that's my update. This will be my last time posting on here. I'm probably going to delete my account, actually. I'm completely done with relationships and will probably never get into one again, but thank you to everyone who took the time to comment and message me. I seriously feel like each one slowly built my confidence bit by bit. I know I'm a bad person for not doing it on my own, so I thank all of you sincerely for helping me. I owe everyone my new life. I wasn't going to post at first, but it feels nice to get this all off my chest. I feel like I'm going to explode with pent-up emotions lately. Edit. By the way, guys, I lied in all my posts about my age. I'm actually 21. I'm not sure why I lied, but it's nice to be open about it. I'm 21. Editor's note. Op also wrote a post about how she was parentified from a young age. She posted it 2 days before the final update post. She also revealed her true age there and walked through the timeline. Here is the post. Title: I've been parenting since I was 8. Here's my dumb story, maybe someone will read it. I've never told anyone. And I'm feeling lonely as hell. When I was 2, my mom had my little sister. People tell me I was very withdrawn, that once my sister came around, I almost stopped crying completely, and that it was creepy. I got older. Most of the memories I remember, I was always by myself, getting myself ready for school, walking myself to the bus stop half a mile away in the dark. For kindergarten. When I was 7, my mom had my little brother. After that, I don't have many memories of her outside her room. I watched him and my sister for a few hours when he was a newborn. As he got older, she left me in charge of him more and more often. By the time I was 8, I took care of my siblings from wake up to bedtime most days if I was home. Mom never left her room anymore, or sometimes she would be gone for a few days to a week, summertimes or weekends. I was their parent. I held them, fed them, parented them. When my sister started school that year, it stressed me out that my brother would be home alone. And I would get physically ill from the stress and worry. It helped because I would be sick but still at home for my brother. Thankfully, though, he was always okay when I got home. In fact, I was pretty sure that Mom was out of her room while we were at school. But as soon as we came home, she was in her room and our brother was playing alone in our room. As we got older, I was expected to keep up the house. If it wasn't in pristine condition, I would get punished. Better not to go into detail, but there were physical punishments and mental punishments, the worst. For example, if my mom ate something at midnight, I would get in trouble that the kitchen wasn't clean the next morning. I took care of my siblings, cooked all the meals, cleaned the house, and deep cleaned weekly, yet I was somehow always yelled at, punished, grounded. In case anyone is wondering where my dad is? Gone, usually. He would be home once a month, and those were my best memories. Then he was gone for work. But later I found out he would use this time to drink himself into hospitals. That was my life from 10 to 15. We moved around a lot too, so I couldn't keep any friends, especially because I developed severe social anxiety from some of Mom's mental punishments. My mom loved to ground me whenever I actually had any plans. After turning down any new friend's invitation 3 times in a row, they usually stopped calling me. My sister was becoming a mess. She was a feisty girl, always fighting and looking for trouble, but also lonely and looking for friends to fill the hole that I just could not fill no matter how hard I tried. Her problems came from severe bullying, and she tried so hard to make friends. At the time, I would stress and yell at her, try to stop her from sneaking out, stop her from texting boys. I would get into fights with her all the time just to eat. Now I'm looking back, and I wish I had just hugged her and been there for her instead. She moved out as soon as she turned 17, no contact with anyone but me and our brother. She has lots of friends now. My brother was the most creative and smartest kid ever. He was reading, drawing, and playing Minecraft, LOL, before 5 years old. But he was emotionally unstable because he only had me as an example of how to act. I tried to parent him, but it's hard when you didn't have a parent yourself. He became violent and would harm himself as a kid until I took parenting classes at 16 and was able to help him get better. Now he's the sweetest kid, I swear. He's still super smart and wants to become a computer engineer. From 15 to 17, I found a good, stable job that paid well. I babysat and did odd jobs since I was 10 because I needed money for clothes, but now I worked part-time, went to school, took a college class, school paid for, each term, parented my siblings to the best of my ability, managed the house, but my siblings did their share now, still cooked all the meals, took my siblings to all their events, bought all their clothes and food, cared for my mentally unstable grandmother, long story, and also my parents, who decided I was old enough to become a mediator for their fights. Still got physically and mentally abused by my mother too. I had panic attacks every week, sometimes up to 3 times a week. I would have nosebleeds. I would never cry or process my emotions, and it caught up to me now. At 17, I met him. My now ex-husband. He was always a jerk, but I saw him as some sort of savior back then. This 21-year-old man. Not going to even go into that. My sister didn't and still doesn't like him. He asked me to marry him when I was still 17, and I was too scared to say no. We got married when I was 18, after a year of being together. It was stupid. He got me pregnant just as I started college. I found out only now he poked an effing hole in a condom. After having our child, his behavior got worse, and it got to the point he started threatening to beat me and stuff. So that was my life from 18 to 21. It took me that long to get the courage to leave. So here I am, about to turn 22 soon, hiding in my new apartment with my daughter and my brother. My brother, now 14, acts like he's protecting me, and I don't even have the heart to tell him that he's staying with me because he has nowhere to go either. My parents don't take care of him. I count him as my own anyway. Life sucks, but at least I've got my 2 kids with me. If you've read this far, OMG, you're crazy. I wrote so much. Thank you for reading.